The depression, the anxiety, the anguish.
We need support.
Yeah. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel.
As many of you know, we attended World Vegan Day in Melbourne recently.
If you weren't already aware, we've got a great video on that. We'll link that down below. Check it out. Awesome fun.
It was a lot of fun, and one of the highlights of the day was listening to so many amazing speakers, very inspirational.
One of whom was vegan psychologist Claire Mann, and we were so taken by her speech that we had to invite her onto our podcast show to interview her.
Yeah, her topic was Vystopia, and we had never heard about this before until we came across a video from Claire on Facebook recently.
That kind of went semi-viral actually, and we resonated with it very strongly, and we knew our audience would too, so that's why we got her on the podcast.
Yeah, and it was so interesting to hear her speak about Vystopia in person at World Vegan Day. She went into more detail. We're not going to even try to explain or define what Vystopia is.
We'll let Claire do that. We'll include a sample of the podcast interview at the end of this video, but we highly encourage everyone to go over and listen to the full episode because there's so much in there, isn't there?
It was incredible, and this is why we're making this video, because we want to share this information with our YouTube audience that's obviously a lot larger than our podcast audience.
Because there's so many gold nuggets in there, isn't there?
Look, it kind of blew us away. It was by far the best interview we've done with anybody on the podcast show.
In terms of its depth and breadth, you know, the places that we went in the conversation, incredible where you can go in an hour, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the main topic was Vystopia, which, as we said, this is something new to us and to the vegan community.
In terms of the word, the experience is very familiar to us.
Unfortunately, yes. I think it's something most of us can resonate with, and it was just amazing to have, I guess, how a lot of us feel.
And the way we experience life as a vegan articulated in the way that Claire does, because she's an exquisite communicator, isn't she?
She is. And so not only did we talk about Vystopia, but the conversation just kind of branched out into
mental health and well-being
topics.
And so many...
activism.
That's right.
Effective communication. There were lots of tips
strategies and advice that we know that will leave you guys feeling very empowered, as it did us.
It really did. And, you know, we have been following Claire's work for a number of years now, so we already knew quite a bit, but just hearing her talk about it again really reinforced some things for us. And as you said, it's empowering because, and this is one of the main reasons we're sharing this, you know, not only do we make videos for people to hopefully go vegan, but it's also for our vegan audience to help you guys stay vegan.
Yes, and then also to become more active as vegans in whichever form, you know, appeals to you, because activism takes many forms, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. And just going back to, we do hear, unfortunately, from a lot of people who do go vegan, but then they kind of fall off the bandwagon a little bit, or they really struggle with staying vegan in its totality, because there are times when it can be very, very challenging to be vegan in a non-vegan world.
Absolutely.
You know, like, sure, you can get the food, the diet part down pat. That's often, I mean, it's the biggest part, but it can be the easiest part as well.
The social aspect can be the most challenging, particularly with family, friends, colleagues, and the various institutions in our society.
Yeah, and so it's that mental strain, that emotional impact that really...
The depression, the anxiety, the anguish.
We need support.
Yeah.
We need to feel empowered. We need to know how to deal with this. And providing that information is what we believe, and obviously Claire does too, is going to help people stay vegan.
That's right. That's why we're sharing this podcast interview with you. Here's a short sample now, but be sure to go over and listen to the full podcast episode, because we know you'll get a lot out of it, guys.
You sure will. We want to hear from you. Please put your comments down below or on the website. We'll link everything down below in the description box under this video. We definitely want to hear about your experience, and we will ask you, please do share this video or the podcast link with other vegans, because we want to get as many people listening as possible to get the full information, to educate themselves, to feel empowered, to have resources and tips. And we have also linked all of Claire's resources on our website as well. So everything's down below, but please do help us share this to raise awareness and help other people out.
Thanks, guys. And remember, until next time, that going vegan is not the most we can do.
It is the least we can do. Thank you so much for watching.
Bye, guys.
Well, Vystopia is not a medical term. It's an existential experience that vegans go through. And I recently gave it a name, only within the last month, actually. Let me just explain where that comes from. We've all heard of dystopia and utopia. Utopia is a place of joy and freedom and kindness and compassion, an ideal world for us all of abundance. Dystopia is the opposite of that, and that really is a state of darkness and greed and competition and totalitarianism. It's an imagined place that many authors have written about, of course, and things like Aldous Huxley and a lot of existential writers talk about the potential of human beings to be very dark and bring their shadow forth. I believe that vegans suffer from Vystopia, which is a form of experience of a vegan dystopia. And what do I mean by that? Let's give you a definition of Vystopia. Vystopia is the awareness an ethical vegan has of the systematized cruelty in our society, in terms of what people eat, what they wear, the products they use that are tested on animals, that are trashing the environment, that are using water supplies. In everyday life, unless people actively work to not include and abuse animals in the process, they will be included. And so the first part of dystopia is the awareness of the systematized cruelty. But then as people start to tell other people that resistance, that, well, it would never be allowed to happen, and what about humans? The government would never allow it, I have my choices. The vegan is confronted with the trance-like collusion non-vegans have with a dystopian world of darkness and greed and corruption and animal abuse behind doors. So that's what Vystopia is. It's an existential experience of mental anguish, really, where people know about what goes on with animals at an institutionalized level, and then the trance-like collusion of the non-vegan world that says, what are we all worrying about? And I think this is where we need to learn to communicate well, having the conversations that matter. And the biggest tip I can give people is ask questions. So when someone says, oh my gosh, Natasha, you're so thin, just say, what do you mean by that? Is we immediately react to something, or why are you vegan? Yes. We give an answer or something. So ask questions. What do you mean by that? Well, you seem to be very thin and healthy. And what do you think about that? Just keep asking questions, because when we get the person to experience what they have, take ownership and experience the words coming out of their own mouths, it's much easier to get people to change and shift. So often people say, look, why are you a vegan? And I'll say, okay, well, there's a number of ways to answer that.